Can you hear me?
I can.
Alright, just making sure they give me this mic to use so you can hear me good.
All right. All right. Does that work?
Yeah. I'm actually trying not to freak out right now.
Okay.
You're one of my favorite YouTubers.
Appreciate it, man. No big deal.
I'm only gonna be asking you questions like what movie got you into movies, what made you want to start YouTube, and say you have any advice for anybody wanting to start this channel, and what's your favorite movie guy like I was, so he wanted me to get some interview because he likes movies too.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, start off with your name, and if you want to promote your channel, go ahead, because a lot of kids are going to see this from my school.
Okay. Yeah, my name's Cody Leach. I've been on YouTube for, this August to be 4 years. It's a movie channel, but I do video games and music once in a great while. It's a horror-focused channel, but I do all different genres and, comic books and action and everything like that. So it's not just for horror fans. You can find me by searching my name. I should be the first person that pops up, or you could just do youtube.com/Cody Leach channel. A lot of it's probably not safe for school. Maybe don't play some of the videos at school, but if you enjoy movies, you should enjoy the channel. So.
Definitely not that Freddy's Dead video. You and your cuss counter.
Yeah. Don't do that one.
Okay, so the first question I got is, what made you want to start a YouTube channel?
It was actually my last job. I used to do construction materials testing, so you would go out to either sites that were going to become houses or industrial buildings, and we would have to go out when it was just land and test the soil and everything, and I would drive anywhere from 2 hours to 6 hours a day. So I started listening to a lot of podcasts, and some of the main ones was like Collider, whenever they did Movie Talk, or the AMC Movie Talk before they were Collider, and I would listen to movie-related podcasts almost every single day, and I would find myself, like, not necessarily talking out loud, but the discussions that they would have, I would kind of like think about what my thoughts were, what my insight was, if I agreed or disagreed, and I was like, I'm going to do this. So on a whim one day, I ordered a small little microphone. It's like a $20 little microphone from Amazon, and I started a podcast the summer of the year that I started my YouTube channel. So it lasted from June until August, and I had a lot of fun doing it, but I always felt restricted. It didn't feel like I was reaching the audience that I wanted to. I was intimidated by video editing. I was intimidated by all the workload that I thought YouTube was probably going to take. And like I said, I was working a lot of hours, had 3 kids, so I was like, I don't even know if I have time for a YouTube channel. But again, just like I kind of just took a shot and randomly started doing the podcast, I bought a pretty good camera. It's the same camera that I still use today. I bought a set of lights. I bought a green screen. Not this one behind me right here, but it was a much larger one. And basically took what I was doing on my podcast and put it on YouTube. And I would say the rest is history, but it's been a long road since then. Look at my first couple of videos, and those short 4 or 5 minute reviews. I get, I don't detail everything. I don't go too in depth with everything. I don't put as much flash into it. It was a lot more basic. So I've done a lot since then to always try to, stretch what I do and try to do something more. But that's pretty much how it started. It started with just needing something to listen to at work, wanting to do my own version of it, and then eventually just biting the bullet and full on starting YouTube. And here I am today.
Thank you. Now you're at 39,000 subscribers right now. Did you ever think you would get that far? And how, like, in your opinion, how do you think you got that far?
I didn't think that I would get that far this fast. 4 years doesn't sound fast, but it is in YouTube terms. But I always have kind of a quiet confidence about myself, whether I was in school or at work or doing anything creative. I always believe in myself a lot. So even when I started YouTube, I didn't expect it to happen as soon as it did, but I was like, it might take me 10 years, but I'll get up there. But yeah, it wasn't something where I started it and I was like, man, I'm never going to get as high as some of these other guys, or I started it and was like, I'm going to be an instant success. I just kind of just went at my own pace, learned lessons, did it my own way. As far as how I've gotten there, was kind of like just that, learning the right lessons, doing things wrong a lot. Whenever you first start YouTube, you kind of try to emulate the people that you like on YouTube, or I'm going to do kind of what he does, and I'm going to try to, make the thumbnails look like his, and try to tweak it a little bit. And then once you start learning, and as long as you don't take too much comfort in just looking like other people, you start figuring out what you want to do to differentiate yourself. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I've done that's gotten me where I am. There's a dime a dozen people on YouTube talking about movies, but I try to do everything I can to have me be what the video is about necessarily, not just the movie that I'm talking about or the video game that I'm talking about, because you could search YouTube and find a million videos right now talking about like Birds of Prey that just came out. But what's going to make my video different is me. So I just once I kind of realized that, I started realizing, okay, well, nobody's me but me. Nobody has my personality except myself. And as far as the creative side of things, like I do a lot of things with the intros to my videos. Like if I do a review series, I usually put a lot of thought into that, try to make like skits or some kind of a free-flowing narrative to tie all the reviews together. And as far as I know, nobody else does that. I make my own backgrounds. Like I basically created my own little haunted house background behind me a little less than a year ago. I try to do a lot of things to make my channel and make my videos stand out to where if you watch my video, you're not going to find other things like it. And I think that's one of the biggest things that's gotten me to what will soon be 40,000 subscribers.
I would definitely say you're probably going to hit 1 million pretty soon. That's my opinion, because you're amazing.
Thank you. I hope so.
What was the movie?
My goal is to hit 100K by the end of this year.
That would be awesome. Now, what was the movie that made you a movie lover, that got you into movies, that just made you fall in love?
It really wasn't just one movie, it was a collection of movies. My dad was a single parent. My dad's a really big movie buff. He's a big music buff. So when it was just me and him, which it was from 2 years until into my teens pretty much, a lot of the same things that he liked, I kind of grew to like. So a lot of the movies that he loved, he would kind of show me or I'd watch with him. And so movies like The Lost Boys, movies like Terminator 2, you start getting into like what made me a horror fanatic. You got Child's Play 2, you got Nightmare on Elm Street, Nightmare on Elm Street 3. There was a collection of movies from my childhood where I just remember the VHS tapes, for those of you that even remember what those are, where I would just constantly have them in rotation. I would watch it, rewind it, watch it again. It was almost like I would just wear it. It would be like smoking by the time I was done watching it when you pull it out of VCR. But yeah, Terminator 2, The Lost Boys were always ones that would be constant rotation. And Child's Play 3 is the one that kind of made me a horror fan. I still remember, I've told the story a lot on my channel, but I still remember the day that my dad was watching Child's Play 3, and I walked in. I was like 4 years old maybe,
and
and I remember the molten plastic kind of circling into the vat when the title screen comes up, Child's Play 3. I still remember walking in and seeing that, and I sat down and watched it. From then on, I was like,
where's
more of this? I need more of this. I need more. Freddy, yeah, give me some of that. Michael Myers, yeah, let me try that out. And those kind of horror was really special to me when I was a kid, because some people probably have strong opinions about it nowadays, how young I was, but I was the only kid that I knew at my age that even knew what horror movies were. I went to a Christian school until I was in second grade, so they were very strict. There was a lot of things that you couldn't even really talk about in school without getting the evil eye. And so I wouldn't really bring it up in school, but the little bit that I would talk about, like at recess, nobody knew who Freddy was. Nobody knew who Chucky was. So it was kind of like this special little world that only I had for a number of years. It felt like all the way until almost my teenage years. Like when Scream came out in 1996, that was a big thing, where suddenly everybody was a horror fan. And I remember getting very aggravated when I was even just 6 years old, when everybody's like, I love horror, and I'm like, I've loved horror long as you have no idea what you're talking about. So yeah, that's probably a much longer answer than you were expecting. But yeah, there's a small collection of movies there from my childhood that definitely shaped me as a movie fan.
The longer the answers, the better.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, you were 4 years old when you started watching movies. Oh, not movies, horror movies. I'm sorry. My dad wouldn't let me start watching it until I was 15. I'm 17 now, so I'm like really behind, but I still consider myself a horror lover because I love slasher movies like more than anything. You're actually the one.
I hear you.
You're actually the one that got me into Chucky.
All right.
If it wasn't for you, I would never have bought this Bride of Chucky VHS tape. Oh, dude, that's amazing.
That's awesome.
This, I just bought this about 4 months ago at a Goodwill, and I've probably watched it so many times it might not work anymore.
Yep. I had plenty of those.
I want to show you this too real quick. You got me into Freddy as well. I had my dad go out and buy me this Freddy cup.
Awesome.
I stayed away from Freddy's Dead as long as I could.
Freddy and Chucky. Oh man. Yeah. I had somebody on Twitter ask me just yesterday. They tweeted me and they said, I'm getting ready to watch Freddy's Dead for the first time. Do you have any advice? And I replied, don't.
I got that Blu-ray set, the Nightmare on Elm Street Blu-ray set, and I really didn't want to watch it, but then I was like, you know, it's only going to be one time if I don't like it, and just give it a watch, and I hated every second of it. So I can
Yeah, man, that's one. There's a few of them, but that's one that I could probably say it's not the worst movie I've ever seen. It's not the worst movie ever made. But if you were to ask me the movie that I hate the most in this world, that's pretty easily it. It just, as a horror fanatic, as a Freddy fanatic especially, it feels like it's a gigantic smack in the face to not only the character, but to me as a fan. And I know there's people out there that can enjoy it for how goofy and wacky it is, but I want to punch holes in the wall every time I get 5 minutes into it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Before we continue with the regular questions, this is like a fan question for me. Which one would you prefer? Seed of Chucky or Freddy's Dead?
I'd rather watch Seed of Chucky. I hate them both a lot. But Seed of Chucky, the only thing that it has over Freddy's Dead is that Chucky is still Chucky in Seed of Chucky. The writing is terrible. Everything pretty much about that movie is garbage. The story, the direction, the humor that they put into there, it's just it's just a weird little anomaly in the Child's Play franchise that I'd like to forget.
But
But
Chucky
Chucky is still Chucky. He still feels like Chucky. He's still written like Chucky. He still has some Chucky one-liners. So there's little moments of enjoyment in there. Very few and far between and very short, but there's moments of enjoyment for a Chucky fan in Seed of Chucky. Freddy's not Freddy in Freddy's Dead Final Nightmare. Freddy in that movie is basically a Looney Tunes cartoon with a glove. So that's... I don't enjoy a single second of Freddy's Dead where there's at least a couple of moments of Seed of Chucky that I'm like, I'll grin.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm old enough for this yet, but you got me into Breaking Bad, and as soon as you did those reviews, I went and watched every single season,
Mm-hmm.
and I just want to say thank you, because that is one of the greatest shows ever made.
Yeah. Spread the awareness. Anybody watching this, if you haven't seen Breaking Bad, I'm watching you. You need to watch it now.
When I watched it, I realized what that purple bear was in your background. I was so confused what that was at first, and then I watched it and I was like, okay, I get it now.
That's one of the I like to put little Easter eggs in my background for fans of different things to find, and that's one of the least recognized things. Everybody recognizes all the horror icons, and it cracks me up sometimes when I get people like, I've been watching your videos for months, and I just now noticed Michael Myers is staring at me through the window, and but yeah, that pink bear, I could probably count on both hands how many people have been like, oh, it's the bear from Breaking Bad.
Alright, well, what's your favorite film of all time? Like, the film you'll go to the most, the film you'll defend till the day you die?
It might be
surprising since I'm such a horror guy, and I talk horror the most, and I have a horror channel, but Die Hard, the original Die Hard is actually my favorite movie of all time. I didn't watch it until I was maybe, I don't know, 15 years old. It was just one of those classics that I missed for a long time. And I instantly fell in love with it, and it became a movie that I believe I watched it right around the time that the fourth one came out. I was in high school, so I wanted to kind of watch a few of them before I went to see Live Free or Die Hard, and it's a yearly watch for me. Every single Christmas. Yes, it is a Christmas movie.
Yes.
Don't argue with me. Anybody. But it's a Christmas watch. I watch it probably at least once in the middle of the year. One of my favorite movie characters of all time. I just think it's a perfect movie. Perfect script. You got the perfect actor who was of nobody at the time and just brought this awesome character to life. It's the epitome of what I want from an action movie. It's not really over the top. I mean, there's some big stunts that definitely would be a little bit over the top for a regular person to do, but it doesn't go into like Fast and Furious territory to where it's like he's flying cars and everything. He's a very human character. You really feel like everything is at risk the entire movie. You have the whole dynamic with him and his wife, kind of ties into Christmas themes, where he's just trying to get home at the end of the day with his family. Only there's a skyscraper full of terrorists standing in his way. The humor throughout the movie, there's so many one-liners that are like some of the best of all time. There's like 5 in that movie. The whole subplot with the cop outside who's the only one who's on his side, and he won't shoot anybody because he had an accident, and then he was forced to by the end of the film. One of the greatest villains of all time, and Hans Gruber. I mean, I could go on and on as you can see about how awesome Die Hard is. That's one of those movies that to me is just absolute perfection.
I love all the first 4 Die Hard movies, but in my mind, Good Day to Die Hard never happened. So in my head, there's only 4 Die Hard movies instead of 5.
Never heard of the 5th Die Hard movie. I forgot or wiped it from my memory.
Me too.
Don't watch number 5.
Alright, so before we get off here, because I know you're probably busy, do you have any advice for anybody wanting to start a YouTube channel?
Yeah, it's going to
sound
cliche, and
and it's going to sound like a fortune cookie, but nothing could be more true. The first one is be yourself. Like I was talking about earlier, everybody that starts, you try to emulate some things that you've seen. You try to look at or do some things that are similar to channels that you love because you obviously love them for a reason. But as soon as you kind of get your footing, or if you even have your footing right out the gate, just be yourself because, like I said, nobody is me but me. Nobody is more you than you. You're the one thing that's going to differentiate your channel from anybody else's right off the bat. So don't be afraid to be yourself. Know what your strengths are. Know what's going to be entertaining or what's going to draw people to you, and lean onto that. Don't be afraid to be yourself, and don't be too comfortable emulating other people because number one, your channel's not going to seem like it's very unique if you're like a lot of other channels. But number two, the more successful you get in YouTube, the more people are going to notice where your influences come from. And if you lean on them too much, you will get called out for it. The trolls are going to find you no matter what on YouTube, so you might as well give them as few reasons to show up as possible. Number two is to be consistent, which is something that I struggle with sometimes because of the hours that I work and the total inconsistency of my availability to do videos. But be consistent in a sense where your quality as far as video and sound is always consistent. That's the most important thing. People actually really underestimate the quality of audio. So you always make sure you have your ducks in a row as far as the quality of your video, but also be consistent with what and how often you upload. You don't want to be a channel that, does a movie review on Monday and then does a cooking video on Wednesday and then does, prank video on Friday, because that you're never going to succeed like that. It might sound like fun to have a channel that does everything, a jack of all trades type deal, but that's just not the way that the YouTube algorithm works. If somebody subscribes and likes and watches your videos because they love your movie reviews, they might not show up when you're doing a cooking video or a prank video or whatever else. So if you're not providing consistent content that your subscribers subscribe to you for, then YouTube is going to take that as, well, they subscribe, but they're not returning to your channel, so we're not going to recommend you anymore. And it's just the kiss of death. And the third one, which I had in my head and I just forgot, so is be consistent, and then I had them in a row and it was going so well, and then I forgot.
Yeah, it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
It does. Those are the two main ones. Be yourself and be consistent.
one thing just popped in my head because I know me and a lot of my friends at school like you. I introduced you to a lot of them. They told me to ask you when I told them that I was doing this interview. They wanted to know like some of the upcoming stuff that you had in the store. So if you don't mind, you want to tell us some of the stuff that's coming up?
Yeah, I just watched a movie called VFW, which is a Fangoria movie. It's like a movie that was played at a couple of film festivals last year, but has not been released to the public yet. So I'm going to try to get a review for that out tomorrow, possibly a day or so before it starts to hit some select theaters. So look out for that. I'm also going to be doing. I started a Phantasm review series last year, and it went painfully long because of the person I was collaborating with, but I had one more movie left that I've neglected to revisit, Phantasm Ravager, so I'm going to finally get that out and do a Phantasm ranking with Sean Chandler from Sean Chandler Talks About. If anybody knows him, he's a friend of mine. I'm also going to be doing some more Patreon requests, which is kind of like my crowdfunding group. So I have let's see, Night of the Creeps. I'm trying to look at my little board. Night of the Creeps, which is like a little B-80s horror film that I have coming up. I also have Payback, which is a 90s movie, like a revenge thriller with Mel Gibson. Coming up as far as, in the next few months, I'm going to be having a Christopher Nolan review series because I've had at least 3 Patreon requests for different Christopher Nolan movies, so I figured I might as well just do all of them before his new film comes out this summer. Also going to be doing a Saw review series, which I've avoided like the plague because I'm not a big Saw fan, but they have the new film Spiral coming out, so I figure I might as well. No time is better than now to go ahead and get that out. And then that's pretty much it. Hopefully, I do a live stream once in a while with some friends called Autop Stream, and I'm trying to get that more regular to where I can get at least 1 or 2 episodes a month. So hopefully we'll get one of those out in a couple of weeks. We just did one this past weekend, kind of like our own version of the Oscars. So that's pretty much all I have planned thus far. There'll be some surprises here and there. The newer movies that come out every single week, the ones that I'm interested in, I'll check those out. I'm definitely going to see Sonic this weekend. I was always a Sonic fan, so that'll be coming. And I think Fantasy Island comes out this week, which might be good. I might see it.
I'm going to watch Sonic 2. I hope it's good.
I hope so. A buddy of mine that lives in California saw it, and he's a pretty he, not quite movie snob. I'm not going to use that, but he's very like the types of movies that he likes are like the movies that end up in the Oscars, and he really enjoyed it. So that's usually a sign of faith to me if a guy that doesn't really typically like those movies likes it.
Now, speaking of Phantasm, before we get off here, this is my last question. There's a Phantasm collection at my local Walmart, but it's DVD and not Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to wait until I could find the Blu-rays so I can get all of them together because I really want to watch them. But the only ones that they're selling are DVD. So do you think I should go ahead and buy the DVD or wait out for the Blu-ray?
I mean, if the DVD set's cheap enough, go ahead and give it a shot just to make sure that you actually like them, because the Blu-ray set's pretty expensive. The one that came out last year is already, or 2 years ago, is already discontinued. So if you try to get that one, people are probably going to mark up the price quite a bit on eBay. And there's a Best Buy set that just came out a couple of months ago that has like a little, there's a sphere, which is an object in the movie that's kind of an icon that has like a replica of that inside, but it's like $100. So if you're not trying to spend that much and you've never seen them before, I would take a shot on the DVD just to make sure you like them.
Okay. Well, thank you for doing this interview.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
When I get it edited and put up on the TV, I mean not the TV, put up on our local YouTube channel at school. You want me to send you a link to it so you can watch it?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
All right. Well, thanks again, and you rock.
Thanks, man. No problem. Hope it goes well.
Thank you.
How did it go?
That was Cody Leach.
Cody Leach.
Yeah, you know the guy with the cuss counter on the
Oh,
Nightmare
yeah.
on Elm Street reviews?
Yeah.
That was him.
Were you fangirling?
Yes, I was, and he knew it, and he was just smiling and laughing. It was fun.